Okay, by my clock, we are right at the top of the hour, so we'll get started. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining. I want to just point out that in the center of the Medico window, you should see the note well, which is probably familiar to you if you've participated in the IETF before. And this is where I'll share slides, and we'll have a chance to test out the slide sharing feature as well, and we'll talk through all the other features that you're likely to encounter as you participate in an IETF meeting session. Just real quickly, the reminder that this session is being recorded. We're planning to post at least one recording from some of the test sessions so that other people who weren't able to join can enjoy the experience asynchronously. And also, here's just a list of things that we'll be running through during today's session. So we'll have plenty of time for discussion, and I am taking a peek at the chat, and we'll review all the controls as part of this session, so we'll have definitely have a chance to test those out. So real quickly, just the feedback that we've received so far. This is a very high-level summary of it. And there's been already, I should say, thanks to the Medico folks, some work already done to address some of these, and there's some more work that we're talking about doing. There's a request to sort of have a better indication of who is speaking when, and you'll have a chance to see some of that in action. A little bit of clarification about both in terms of the queue and the audio video sending controls. And again, there's been some work done on that already, and there's going to be some further work done, I think, perhaps. In any case, the documentation will be updated as well to address the questions that we received. And there's been a request to see sort of chat and the participant queue at the same time. And this is something that will be addressed in the documentation. And there's lastly a request to increase the duration of the hum, and I can say that that's actually already been taken care of. So I think we've tuned the hum duration based on the feedback we've received so far. So that seems to be in pretty good shape. I'll just pause there. I think we'll definitely be looking for additional feedback. I just want to make sure that you all knew what we've already recorded in terms of our testing sessions so far before we get into things. So the first thing I wanted to cover is the general flow of how people will join sessions during IETF 108. And the expectation is that people will join from the data tracker agenda page, which again, if you've participated in an IETF before, you're probably all aware of. And the way to do that is to scroll through the agenda, find the session that you want at the time that it's on, and click on the Medico icon, which I believe is the little camera icon here on the right side of the agenda for each of the sessions. And that'll open a, excuse me, a web browser window so that you can join the Medico session. There are also other options here to open individually the Jabber session for, the Jabber room for each session. And that is actually connected into Medico, so both the chat that you see now in Medico and the Jabber room are the same. So when you're in a session, those are connected. Those are the same thing. The other thing is that there's a notepad icon, and we'll go through this as well, which are the notes for the session. And that's also accessible either directly here from the data tracker agenda, and it's also integrated into the Medico interface, which is a nice option. One note about the blue sheets, if you've been to an IETF meeting before, you'd note that the signing the blue sheets is something you do to record your presence in a session. That is taken care of automatically through data tracker. When you log into the session or into Medico via data tracker, the blue sheets are already generated. So that means that the working group chairs, or sorry, the session chairs, don't need to do that work, which is also nice. In terms of sort of what you need to join, any WebRTC browser will work with Medico, and there are a few differences about how those work, which are documented in the Medico documentation guide. And also, while a WebRTC-enabled mobile browser will work, the interface isn't optimized for that yet, and I think that screen sharing isn't possible through mobile browsers. But otherwise, WebRTC web browsers are what you need on the software side to join. And the expectation is that about 3 or 4 people at maximum will be sending video, either the chairs and or the presenters. So that sort of implies something like a megabit per second internet connection for video during the Medico session. And those are sort of the requirements. And we'll skip back up here to the agenda for the item. Yeah, so those are the requirements about and how to join sessions during IETF 108. Are there any questions? Oh, I see that there is a question about video that is playing. Yeah, you should be hearing audio there, and it may be that and this will be a part of the tour of the interface itself, it may be that pressing the reconnect button, which is in the lower right-hand corner, it's sort of the circle of arrows in the lower right-hand corner, will reconnect your audio. That might solve the problem for people who don't hear audio at the moment. Okay, I don't see any other questions about sort of connecting and what you need to connect to sessions during IETF 108. So I'm just going to do a very, very brief sort of tour of the Medico interface, and again, happy to answer questions along the way. I'll be keeping an eye on chat. So in the upper left-hand corner, you see the IETF logo. Usually next to that, there will be the name of the session so that you know which session you're in. I'll say that you can only join the Medico session once, so it's not possible to have multiple browser windows, either the same browser or a different browser, connected to the same Medico session. But you can connect to multiple Medico sessions at the same time. Just below that, you should see your name and the role that you have in the session. So a chair for a session, a designated chair for a session will see the chair role against their name. And if you're a participant, you'll see the participant role against your name. And there's some other roles like IETF chair or IRTF chair that you'll see sometimes. I see a question about feedback, and I'll definitely cover that. One note in that there may be a picture next to people's names, and that is provided via the Gravatar service, and this will be documented in the Medico documentation as well. And yeah, so within that same box, you should see a number of controls. Participants typically see a icon with a screen and then a play button in the lower right-hand corner, and that's the request to share your screen as a participant. Similarly, there is a video camera with a play button, which is, as a participant, a request to share the screen. And then there's a microphone with a hand against it, and that is a request to join the actual queue. So that is that's how you enter the queue. All participants actually do have the ability to send audio at any time. That's sort of equivalent to standing up in the middle of a meeting room and talking, even if you're not in the queue. So if you're looking to participate in the discussion in the room, it's strongly encouraged that you use that microphone with a hand raised to join the queue, and then the chair can manage the queue from there. And we'll walk through that. Yes. Then sort of moving to the upper right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see an icon that shows the presentation view and gallery view options. And just to the left of those, you'll see the tooltips. So anytime you roll over something in an interface item, there'll be a tooltip in that location to show you what the action is that it would take if you clicked on it. Two quick things, and I see this mentioned in the queue, in the chat, excuse me. There's a note-taking tool, which is again connected to the data tracker. The same link is note-taking notepad is linked in the data tracker. And if you would like to open that in a separate window, it's possible to do that via the link in the data tracker agenda. But if you click on it here, it'll open that very same notepad inside the Medico interface, which some people prefer. Then there's the folder icon, which is for the meeting materials. Again, these are the things that are uploaded to data tracker. So again, the meeting materials link in data tracker and this view are the same. And then just real quickly, the information, the I button provides a quick tour of Medico, which can be handy if you need a refresher. And then the bell icon is the notification setting. And by default, notifications are off, but you can choose to turn them on. And then the last thing I just want to cover is that there's the last icon on the right, which will actually get you to leave the room, which I encourage you not to click unless you actually do want to leave, because so that's the top row. And I see there's chat going on, and I appreciate the supportive replies in chat, so that's great. What would the notifications notify me of? Well, if you click on the bell, you'll see that you can either have queue notifications and or chat notifications. So if you have desire to hear those notifications, perhaps you can turn those on. I'm just pausing here a moment. Yeah. Great. And so then along the bottom, real quickly, there's that refresh button I mentioned before, which if you are having problems with your audio, that's something to try. And then a slider for the volume and some indication that the session is being recorded, as well as the bit streams for the audio, which brings us to the lower left corner of the Medico window and the Medico logo. Yeah, so real quickly, just above that, you'll see that there's sort of a window with 3 tab possibilities, and those are to see the participant list and the queue, the chat, and the hum. And the chat is pretty self-explanatory. Again, that's connected to the Jabber room for the session, so it's just a very convenient way to access the Jabber room without having to have a Jabber client, if that's a preference. And we'll walk through both the details about the participant list and the queue options, as well as the humming tool. Let me just check my list here just to make sure I haven't missed anything. Oh, well, of course. The center of the window is the presentation window. And so you'll see anything that's shared in that window by a presenter or a chair or a participant even in that center space, where if you choose on the notepad, you'll see the notepad, and the meeting material, you'll see the meeting material. And one note about that is that there can only be one screen shared at a time, so you'll need to stop the screen share, or the chair will need to stop the screen share before allowing another participant or presenter or chair to share their screen. So yeah, let me jump back over to chat and see if there's anything else. Okay, I don't see any other questions in chat, and thanks to Alex for jumping in and others for jumping in and providing the additional information. Super. Yes, for sure. Thank you for, oh, I see a question from Karen. Good point. So I think that the difference is that the participant in the list is someone who's joining via the Medico interface, and a Jabber user is someone who's joined via Jabber client. So that's the difference there. Great. Okay, I see the request from Mike and John. I am going to, and a question about the queue, and that's a perfect segue into the next stage, which is to, and also a question about video, and that's perfect segue into next stage. We're going to demo some of the things, and so for that though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually share my view of the session, so you can see what a chair will be seeing, as well as what what a participant, which is what you all are in this session, will see. I want to quickly say that yeah, we won't be covering gather.town. That's sort of entirely outside of Medico, and you can think of it as sort of a the hotel lobby space. So that's a totally different thing than this. So we won't be covering it here. But with that, I'm going to share my entire screen, and I will warn you that there's sort of a well, there is an effect where it is kind of a funhouse mirror effect. So apologies for that, but that's just the recursive nature of the sharing. But you can see what I see now in terms of the chat, which I think should be almost exactly similar to your chat view. And then we can go through a demo of the queue and the participant list. So here you will see the view from the that I see in the queue, and I have the option of I see that Randy is in the queue, and I have the option of accepting Randy's request to speak at the mic, the virtual mic line, or rejecting it. And I will shortly accept it. I also want to say that I see Laura Nugent has her microphone open, so in theory she could speak without asking. And again, this is sort of the equivalent of standing up in the middle of the room and talking rather than being at the mic. And I see Laura has decided to sort of virtually sit down. So, but good to see you, Laura. So I'm going to accept Randy's request to speak at the mic. So please go ahead, Randy.
So 3 folk who want to have a conversation can all use that right-hand icon to speak permissionlessly. What about videolessly? In other words, hey, this says it's the hallway. What happens if 3 of us all of a sudden want to have our video at once? So we're talking to each other.
Yeah.
That's the other tool.
That's the other tool. That's right. Yeah, it's not expected that Medico will be used during IETF 108 as the virtual hallway. That's more of the gather.town experience. So for video, it is the case that the session chair must grant a participant permission to send video. So it's not possible to, I don't know what the right word is, but unmute your video to sort of start sending video on your own without permission from the chair.
Thank you.
But it could, yeah. Thank you, Randy. Does anybody else want to test out joining the queue? Jonathan. So I see, Jonathan, that you have made a request to share video. A quick note about that is that I'm happy to accept your request if you really do want to share video, but I want to make sure that's the request you meant to make. And also, to let you know that video does not imply audio. So if you would like to speak, you will have to also request to share audio. Ah, excellent. So I'm going to share your audio first. Just make sure that works. Hello?
So you request them separately, what you're saying. Interesting.
Yeah, the way to think about it is that you request to send, you request to share each kind of media separately. So audio, video, and your screen. So there's effectively 3 different streams that are managed separately.
That's a little strange, but okay.
Yeah, and I just want to point out one thing I notice here is that you do not appear in the speaking section of the participant list at this moment. I'm not sure why that is. Usually that's the case.
Interesting. So are people seeing my video, or are you not?
No, would you like to share the video? I'm happy to say yes to that.
No, it's not, you can see my somewhat messy bedroom, but.
If you're happy that, I think that would be useful.
Yeah, sure, go ahead. I want to see how the layout looks mostly.
Okay. Oh, and now I do see you in the participant list, and so it'll take just a moment for the video to spin up, I think. No, for some reason I don't see the actual video appearing for me.
Maybe you have another view.
Yeah, I do see Jonathan's video actually.
Okay, so maybe it's a problem on my end.
Yeah, I think so. Hi, Jonathan.
Hello.
And I see...
Yeah, he's fully visible to us.
Oh, fantastic. Well, as you can see from my screen sharing, I can't see him. So I'm sorry to have missed that opportunity. But thank you very much, Jonathan, for testing that out. And then if you want to stop as a participant, you can press the correct button, like video or audio, with the stop icon on it. Yeah, so that's how that works. I see a few folks in the queue, so I'm going to accept their requests. Virat, please go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Oh, great. That's all I want to test. Thank
Okay,
you.
fantastic. Thank you very much. Randy mentioned this well, but I just want to underscore this, is that it's possible to have multiple people speaking at the same time. So it's sort of maybe the equivalent of having a few microphones that people are standing out and having a discussion in the room. So that's definitely possible. I see Henry in the queue, and I will accept that request. One note I did fail to say was that as with in-person meetings, it'll be recommended that people say their name and any affiliation they wish to share when they begin speaking, so that the audio recording of the session, and for people who might be following along by just audio, can hear that as well. So please, Henry, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm Henry Stark. Could I try the screen sharing?
I'm so excited to hear you want to try that, and I would say yes. So please go ahead and make the request to share your screen. I need to stop my own screen sharing, so you can see I go up here to this icon and press stop, and then I grant your request, and your screen sharing should begin shortly.
Oh, cool. It's just like Hangouts. Yeah.
Okay. It's great. Thank you. So it's interesting. I do not see the screen to be shared.
So you're not seeing my screen, you said?
I think we lost Greg actually.
Hear you.
Greg, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I guess so.
Greg, we do not hear you.
Yeah, I do see from the interface that he's only sharing video. He's not sending audio.
Okay,
So I
so
don't know.
that helps.
Oh, yeah, here you go.
Fantastic. Sorry. Yeah. So Karen, you're requesting to share the screen. I still do not see the screen, unfortunately, so there's something wrong with my end. But do other people see Karen's screen?
Nope, no, it's not on your hand. I don't know if Karen is still picking the window that she wants to share.
And I see Karen, are you there? Karen, if you're speaking, you're very, very quiet, or not at all, not audible at all.
I hear something, but it's like super low.
Yeah, it might be a microphone choice issue. Yes, yeah. That seems to be audio sending, but I think the microphone selection is off. So, okay. So Karen's going to sort out the audio. Jonathan asks a question about sharing, and yes, in Firefox and Chrome, you definitely can share a particular window or a particular application. I think Safari, the behavior is a little bit different, where you can only share the entire screen. And you can also share the entire screen in Firefox or Chrome. So I see someone in the queue. I'm going to accept the request to send audio there. Please, go ahead.
Sriram, this is Sriram. Can you hear me, Greg?
Yes, I can hear you quite well. Thank you. How are you?
Great. Doing well. Thank you. So my question is, do I have control on muting, unmuting my audio or video, or are they muted by default?
Audio is muted by default when you join. You may press the icon above to send audio without permission, if you like. But again, that's sort of equivalent to standing up in the middle of the room and speaking without being in the microphone queue. You must request permission and be granted permission by a chair to send video or to share your screen.
Yeah,
And
got that. Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Unlike other conferencing videos, at my end, I don't have to. I mean, at the beginning when I joined, I thought I said okay to both video and the microphone on. And after that, now I don't see any control where I can turn off my video at my end or turn off my microphone at my end. That's okay with me as long as I am muted by default at your end.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. You're muted by default, and you also have control over whether you send or don't send audio or video through those icons just in the upper left by your name. So it is possible,
Yeah.
even if you start, to turn it off again. Yes.
Yeah, I see those. I understand those. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you for being here. I see Karen now. I don't hear Karen though. I'll request your. Oh, I do hear you now. Excellent.
Well, I wasn't saying anything. Sorry, I knew it was going to take me too long to switch all the preferences I needed to fix for the audio, but I also wanted to try sharing the screen again.
Fantastic. I'm going to say yes to that. So you will be presented with an option to choose to provide permission into what part of your screen to share. And as soon as you do that, I think it'll be shared to everybody.
Okay. So what I was looking for was there's not an option to pick, like it's like Mozilla or
Right. Which browser are you using?
oh, I'm using Firefox this time. So I was hoping to share like a preview window, but application PDF viewer. But that's not. I can't share a specific window, right? I have to share my screen.
I think in Firefox you should be able to share just the window. This is how I was when I share my screen, for example. I'm prompted to share just the window for the slides.
Yeah, that should be possible. The only browser that doesn't allow you to pick a specific window or application is Safari.
So I'm sorry, Alex, can you say it again? The only browser that allows you or does not allow you is Safari?
The only browser that does not allow you to pick a specific window is Safari. From Chrome or Firefox, you can pick a specific application or a window.
Okay, so I'm getting Screen 1, Screen 2, or Mozilla Firefox as my options, and I have a lot of other windows open, so there must be something else. But not to worry. So
yeah, that's weird. There should be some sort of a menu where you can pick the running application, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, if I'm not wrong, you should have several tabs in the window that allows you to pick the screens or applications.
Right. So once you so you get the request to allow, you select allow, and then you get the choice. It's a drop-down menu for an application, and I'm not getting all of them. But that's really, I can check into it later. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is something out of our control because this is how the browser implements the get media display basically. So if not all your applications are showing in the menu, I'm afraid there is nothing we can do to fix it because they are somehow not picked by Firefox itself. You may want to try Chrome if
I actually. I normally use Chrome for this kind of thing. I just wasn't paying attention when I clicked the link, and so I ended up in Firefox. So not to worry, it's all good. I also, it never showed anything when I picked something, so it's not sharing something correctly, but I'm sure it's my fault, so.
Yeah, it might be, I don't know if you double checked that OS level settings that I wrote you via email some days ago. If your browser is actually flagged, because I guess you are on macOS Catalina, right?
I am, and I did, I know I fixed it for Chrome. I may not have fixed it for Firefox. So like I said, I'll go look at it and get back to you.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Well, thanks, Karen, and Alessandro, and I didn't catch who else was speaking, but it sounded like someone who knew something about Medico. So thank you, Team Med.
It was Tobia.
Tobia, thank you very much, Tobia. I see Robin Wilton in the queue. Robin, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So just a couple of quick comments. I missed the first half an hour, so I've come in late. I'm just paying with the user interface, and I noticed it took a while to figure out that the sort of tooltip comments appear on the top right-hand corner of the screen, rather than it sort of hovers over the button that you would press. So when I first came in, I spent a few minutes pressing buttons trying to work out how to mute or turn video on and off and things, because I didn't really know what was going on. So it might be more helpful if those were moved. So that's one comment. It's useful.
Okay.
Another one is I've had problem connecting into the note-taking tool because it says I need to enable cookies, which I think I have some of those turned off, or I have an ad blocker running. So that might be something that other people may hit as an issue, or so it's worth warning in advance. I'll have a play to see if I can get it working, but just make you aware of that one as well.
Yeah. Can you tell me which browser you're using?
Chrome.
Chrome. Okay. And are you, which version of Chrome are you running?
I assume the standard one, so I'm not.
Okay.
I can give you an exact.
It's not the any development branch or anything like that.
No, it's 8304.103. But I do have my cookie settings, I think, set to not to block them all, but maybe to block third-party cookies. I'll have to check what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, those that needs to be available, enabled for the CodeMD for the note-taking tool are cross-site cookies. So if you're blocking them, you cannot use the tool from within the Medico UI.
Okay, that might be worth advertising. I don't know how many other people have the same sort of restrictions put in place or not. But
yeah, and then I don't know if you're using Chrome from a private window with the incognito mode or not, because in the private browsing mode, Chrome automatically blocks all the cross-site cookies. So that might also be the reason why you're not getting that.
No, I'm not using private window or incognito.
Okay.
I am coming through a VPN though.
Yeah, that shouldn't be an issue.
I'll just use this as an opportunity to plug the fact that Robert, we have recorded this session, so you'll be pleased to know that you can rewatch everything when in your copious free time. But also, we will be updating the documentation where this is mentioned, just to be sure it's clear about the third-party cookies and everything. But it's very good to have that information. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. So
Yeah.
I had first I had a question, and then I had a comment about the experience when I got unmuted. First is, it's not very obvious that you've been unmuted. I mean, there's hints such as that, you start seeing the little bar of your volume, and the microphone goes to stop rather than start, and you start seeing audio out. But notably, I don't show up myself in the speaking list, which is unfortunate, because there's not like a big thing saying you're unmuted, which is, if I'm going to say, I want to make sure I'm not saying rude things about anybody else in the meeting when I'm unmuted. But anyway, my question was, is there a recommended flow for when a participant wants to, when a presenter in a meeting wants to present? Because presumably, and I mean, obviously you haven't done this, for real yet, but in particular, is there any recommended as whether the participant is driving the slides or the chair? And, presumably they have to share, whether they should share video or audio and things like that.
Yeah, I'll let Alessandro make a comment. It looks like he wants to jump in first.
Yeah, I wanted to comment about the fact that you don't show up in the speaking list. This has been fixed and will be fixed in the next release that we are releasing later today. So if you test again on Monday, you will find yourself in the speaking list.
Great.
Fantastic, thank you. Yeah, and to the second point about coordinating presentations, that's for sure something that we mentioned in the session chair guide. It's possible to do either way, to have presenters. I think this is also equivalent to the in-person meetings. So it's possible to have presenters sort of use their own device, share their own screen to present and control their own slides, or to have the chair share materials for them, and if it's slides, for example, to share the slides and then indicate when they need to advance for the slides. So that's something that should definitely be worked out by the chairs in advance, and that's mentioned in the has been mentioned in the chair test sessions that we've had, and also in the guide for the chairs. So that's a very good point. There's also a point that one type of it's not possible to share from your desktop video via Medico. So you can't give permission to share a desktop and then just share arbitrary video from that desktop. That's something that needs to be worked out in advance. Again, it's noted in the session chair guide, and it's pretty simple. I think you just need to make sure that Medico have the video in advance, and then they'll be on hand to play the video during the session when that's requested. So It's a really good question, and something that we're definitely bringing up with the chairs. But of course, if you're planning to present in a session and the chairs don't coordinate with you to do that, then it's a good question to ask them how they expect that to happen. So, does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Jonathan? Okay.
Yep.
Great. Thank you very much. I see Chris Box, I think, trying to share video. And before I accept the request to share video, I just want to reiterate that if you'd like to speak, you also need to share audio. And I also wanted to make sure that you do want to share video. So Chris, I've just accepted your audio. Do you also want to share video?
Yes, please.
Okay, fantastic. So I think we may be in the same situation where I do not see the video, but other people can.
Right. Well, I can certainly see my own video and you.
Oh, fantastic.
So how does the audio quality sound anyway?
Sounds very good to me.
Okay. I had a question about, is there any documentation on which port numbers are used for this traffic? Because what I want to do is prioritize this traffic over any other traffic that's going on to my home at the moment.
I'm going to nod silently and look to the Medico folks.
Okay.
Port numbers.
I may have missed the question. Sorry, I was.
Yeah.
Right.
Question is, sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I was just asking: is there any documentation on which port numbers are used, or some other way of identifying the IP packets? Because I want to prioritize them over other home broadband traffic.
There is no documentation, but we can write something about this. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's the if you want to prioritize some traffic, that's the UDP traffic toward the very specific port range. I can write some documentation about this.
Yeah, I think it certainly helped, not just for me, but for anyone else who's able to do that. Because it's my experience is, when I do this with Teams or Zoom or anything else, that it helps to stop those little pauses.
Okay, will do.
Thank you very much.
You.
Yep.
So how do I stop sharing now? That's the little square icon, isn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
Let's try that. So if I turn off video, do I still send audio?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. And I'll turn off audio.
Fantastic. Thank you. And I see Scott speaking. Scott? I do not hear Scott, but okay. I see a question in the chat. I don't hear Scott, I'm afraid, but I do see Clemens.
Yes. Hi, this is Clemens. I just wanted to make a short comment about what we experienced with Chris. He was using a Bluetooth headset, and you should mention that somewhere in the documentation. Most Bluetooth headsets, they restrict the audio bandwidth very much because they presume it's a telephone call, which is why he sounded like he was using a telephone from the 1970s right now. We could hear him, we could understand him, but the reason why he sounded that way was, I think, because of the Bluetooth headset and not because of the Meet Echo setup. So if possible, people should avoid using that or use special things. For instance, the Apple AirPods, they connect through Bluetooth, but they use a wider bandwidth for communication. But normal Bluetooth headsets, things, as soon as you turn on the microphone, they think, oh, a telephone call, and then they cut everything down to 3.1 kilohertz, which sounds like what you just heard from Chris.
Interesting. That sounds like something to note, definitely in the documentation, though, as you said, sort of out of scope of Medico itself, but just as sort of a general usability. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I see Chris again at the top of the queue. So Chris, please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for that. So I do actually have some Apple AirPods, but I don't even know if you can pair them with a Windows laptop, which is what I'm currently used to join this. But yeah, I'll investigate whatever I can do to get a reasonable audio bandwidth.
Great, super. Some real-time troubleshooting. I see Robert again. Robert, please go ahead.
Yes. So another quick question. I've managed to fix the cookies issue. That wasn't too tricky. There's a button just to do that. So that works quite well. Then I managed to get CodeMD up. I saw comments about whether comments were attributed to the person who was actually writing them. So I tried to click on choosing who I was, and that pushed me back into a login page for CodeMD. And I played with it before when the ISG had tried it. And now I've ended up in like the main CodeMD pages, and I can't get back to the page associated with this meeting because I can't find a link. So if I select the links at the top, it can take you back into like a CodeMD top level one. I can look at the links about real-time collaboration things, but I can't find the link for this meeting.
Yeah, once you get to the top level CodeMD page and you log in, then you should be displayed. You should get some sort of a history of the latest paths that you have edited. So you should just click on it, and you should be back in the shared note-taking tool.
But I didn't actually edit it at all. I clicked before editing. And I just
but you accessed it. You accessed it as a guest, and that's the point from where you started to go through the login process, I guess. This is kind of tricky, I do agree, and unfortunately there is no way from CodeMD to log in from within a shared path. So you must go, if you want to log in and show up with your real name, you must go through their homepage, basically do the login via the data tracker there, and then you can get back to the shared path.
Was this explained earlier and I missed it? Because I think this might be quite confusing to people.
Yeah, no, it was not explained earlier, so thank you for bringing up the issue. We ran into it before, and it's something that we'll look to document in the guide, because it is quite tricky, and unfortunately, as Alex said, it's sort of outside of the Medico interface exactly. So, but it's something we'll definitely flag for folks.
Because I still don't even know how I can fix it from where I am. Maybe I sign out. No, so I don't know how to get to the page. I've got to state where I'm sort of stuck from that point of view. Maybe if I disconnect from the whole meeting and reconnect to the whole meeting, I might be able to find it.
Can you try to share your screen so that I can see what you're seeing?
I can try. Is it that one?
Yep, and I will accept that. I see Benjamin Keddock in the queue as well.
Yep. I think I can share this. This should be fine. Oh, wait a minute. This is Chrome tab.
I will say that
sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when
you should sign in. So the green button. You can sign in via the data tracker. And then here you have the history. So one of these two paths is the one that we were editing before. So the two white rectangle. Yeah, right.
Okay, that wasn't where I ended up before. That's not it, is it?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't see the screen either, and I do agree this is an issue. I think we're going to need to document it. What I'd suggest is that we do the documentation and see if that can solve the problem. There are a couple of things that I'm in particular interested in making sure we have a chance to test the hum tool, and I see we have only 10 minutes left. So,
okay,
would you be okay with that approach, Robert?
That's fine with me. Yeah.
Okay. thank you very much again for bringing up that issue. It's definitely an issue that we found. So we're going to do a hum. I'm going to see if Benjamin's microphone will work. Benjamin, please go ahead.
Okay, do I have to unmute myself or can I just talk?
You can talk now that I've accepted your request to speak. Very
cool, and it sounds like you can hear me, so my mission is complete.
Great, thanks very much for coming. As I mentioned, I wanted to just real quickly test the hum tool, and to do that I'm going to share my screen now. I think I can do that. Oh, no, I don't seem to be able to do that. I don't know why. But we'll test the hum tool anyway and walk through that. Yeah,
Greg, you can just try to refresh the page and you should be able to get everything back up. And you left.
We should have kind of a soundboard facility where he now play just sounds like the infamous
I do agree.
theme from Jeopardy. The dun, 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 dun. Oh, there he is.
There I am. Sorry about that. Yes, it was a problem on my end, so I've reloaded, and I think that that I solved the problem. I'm super excited about the hum tool, so I'm going to start that. I'm going to share my screen so you can see the hum tool, and we're gonna see. I've been during the test sessions. I've been not having been a chair before. I have had to refine my hum taking skills. So I think I'm excited to try it out again because I think I've gotten better at it. So the hum tool, very quickly, is that bar graph looking thing in the tabs above the either participant or chat, and you can see what I see as chair for this particular session. So one note is that as we mentioned in the introduction, that the hum duration has been changed to 35 seconds based on earlier feedback. Very quickly, you will only see the results from the last hum displayed at any one time. And the scale here, which is specified in the specification that has been posted, and I think is linked from the guide, determines how a particular hum is bucketed into the scale. And so the goal here is just to test out the mechanics of taking a hum and not to talk about the actual specification. So so that's sort of the background here. One other further note is that the niente, which looks like the lowest, doesn't mean no hum at all. It just means it's very quiet. So it's possible that someone in a group this size especially could be humming, but softly, and so that would record as the lowest scale item on the scale. So I'm going to take a quick look at the chat, see if there's anything. Yes, the screen sharing looping to infinity is exactly because I'm sharing my Medico view. So that doesn't happen except for when you share the screen that you're actually presenting to in Medico. So with that, I'm going to attempt to take a hum, and again, I've been working to improve on this, so we'll see how it goes. So the way it works is that this chair will state the hum, as would happen in a live session. If there's a hum that is known to be taken, and there's a desire to have a written version of it, the way to do that would be to have that presented in the center of the screen as a slide, for example. It's not possible to, by the specification, it's not possible to include a label or a title for the hum, so as to better approximate how a hum is taken in an in-person meeting. So here's the hum. We're gonna ask about ice cream flavor preferences, and the first question will be whether or not people prefer chocolate ice cream over all other flavors of ice cream. And the second question will be if people prefer some other flavor of ice cream over chocolate ice cream. So that'll be the hum. It'll be a two-part hum. So I'll first ask, do you hum if you prefer chocolate ice cream over all other flavors of ice cream? And I'll start the hum, and you'll see that I'm not, as a chair, I'm not allowed to participate in the hum, but you as the participant should be given the option to either hum loudly or hum softly. And you can choose how loudly you'd like to hum. If you would like to, if you would prefer to not hum at all, you can do that by simply not selecting either loudly or softly. So we have about 9 seconds left. I'm going to take a quick peek at the chat. I see. Okay. And now that the hum has concluded, I will see the results of that hum. So excellent. Seems like a lot of people do prefer chocolate over other flavors of ice cream or feel strongly about that, which is great. But now we'll take the other side of the hum, which is if you prefer some other flavor of ice cream over chocolate ice cream, please hum now. And I already, I think, have identified a weak spot in this approach to asking the question this way, but we'll see how this turns out before we get too far along. And again, I want to stress this is an experimental tool. A chair may decide to use it or not. And the idea is that the results of a hum would be recorded by a Jabber scribe, for which is still identified for each session, in the chat window. So that's how the results of a hum might be recorded in Jabber by the Jabber scribe. Excellent. Okay, so it seems like people have a strong opinion about what flavor they prefer, and it's not clear whether more people prefer chocolate versus other flavors, or more people prefer other flavors over chocolate. But I think what we can determine from this hum is that people do have strong preferences about flavors of ice cream, and I'm going to infer that people actually do like ice cream based on this. So yeah, so that's how the hum tool works. I'm going to quickly glance at chat, see if there are any questions in chat. I see people asking to say something, so I'll run through the queue real quickly. Robert, please go ahead. Hi, Robert. I see you as sending audio, but I don't hear anything. So
sorry, I think I had hardware mute on. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I got a little yellow window that said there was a hum going on, and the hum was over before I realized that I needed to switch from the participant list to the hum tab to where to hum. So it says you can hum, but maybe, well, ideally, if it would automatically switch to the hum tab, that would be great. But at the very least, it should point out you can do this by clicking in the hum tab. Something like that would be very helpful.
Okay. I'll ask. We'll put that on the list of things that we might address. It is true that as part of the chair guide, we're recommending that people do a test hum. So before they take an actual hum, so that people who weren't able to join or review the materials actually have a chance to test out the mechanics before the actual hum is taken. So hopefully that'll help with that as well. I see Saram also in the queue. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Greg, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, yeah. So I participated in the hum. The first time I missed, but so the second time I participated, I entered my loud hum. However, after that, it gave me 20 seconds, 30 seconds or something. And at the end of that, it said that your participant category does not allow you to hum. What was that?
Did you see that in my view of the screen, since I'm sharing the screen, or did you see that in your view of the screen?
My view on the left-hand side.
I'm not sure why that would have happened. Not clear.
Yeah, that shouldn't have happened. If you hummed, so if you manage to hum, when the timeout expires, you should just see the last hum results with the choice.
Yeah,
underline.
So it gave me the option to hum softly or loudly. I selected one of them. And after that, a timer was shown, like counting down. And when it counted down to 0, then it displayed a message saying your participant category doesn't allow you to hum.
I'll look into this. It might be a bug, but I should double check. Yeah, that shouldn't happen anyway. If you hum, then you should just be prompted with the results. So if there is a bug, we'll fix it.
Okay. Other question I have is once I raise my hand to speak, how do I lower my hand?
Okay. Well, the way you can lower, I think, well, it's hard for me to remember, but I think it's possible just to stop the audio. I don't know. That's I have a hard time remembering what it looks like from the participant view.
Because the raise hand speak for speaking icon disappears. I can't go back and click on it to undo it.
Yeah, this is also something that is going to change with the next release that we're doing later in the later today. And with the next release, you can get out of the queue by clicking the very same button that you clicked to enter the queue. Right now, you should click the stop mic button that is close to the one that you clicked to enter the queue. And it's kind of tricky. I do agree, and that's something that we fixed.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for the questions, and thank you, Alessandro. I just wanted to note that we are past the time that was planned for this, so if, obviously if people need to go, you should feel free to go. But I do want to give sincere thanks for joining and for testing this out and providing feedback. Very, very helpful. And as Alessandro mentioned, there will be a new version of Medico with some changes and hopefully improvements soon. And then we will be updating the documentation to address both the improvements and also some questions that we've raised, that have been raised. And then finally, the idea is to have, with details that we worked out, the idea is to have a way for people to test Medico again during the IETF 108 meeting week, 27 to 31 July, outside of the regular sessions, so that there's a chance to do another test if you like. So hopefully that'll all help. Are there any other further questions at this point? Yes, I'm going to stop your audio, Saram. There we go. Yes, it's possible for the chair to revoke sending privileges for any participant sending anything. Okay, yeah, I've counted to 6. I don't see any further questions in the queue or in the chat. So again, thanks to everybody for joining. Really appreciate it. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and wish you all a good day. And yeah, thanks so much. Take care.